we need to be quite clear about this. Ukraine is an independent sovereign state, and Russia has decided to, cross the sovereign state border and invade that country. Now, that's not something that the international community should be prepared to put up with, and the United Nations in particular, and they are obviously debating it, and I expect some sort of Security Council resolution. If we allow Russia to take over Ukraine, it then opens up all sorts of other options that are, for them. So we need to take this seriously. I think what we're seeing is the West, for the last few years, I personally think has been rather slow in understanding what's going on in Russia. I don't think our diplomacy has been particularly good over the last few weeks. We've lost the sort of ability for statesman-like quiet diplomacy behind the scenes. Coming out of Afghanistan the way we do has sent messages. And the countries like, it has to be said, countries like Germany, and your comment about the energy and so forth, is a big issue here. Germany has always struggled with its relationship with the East as well as the West. It's always seen itself as, sitting between those two. And it's always had a different relationship than most of the rest of Western Europe. So I have some sympathy with Germany trying to get this balance right. But they have undoubtedly put themselves, in my view, in a very poor position in the context of A, supporting NATO as a whole, and B, being overly reliant on Russian energy and other things too associated with Russia. So if we don't get this right, as I say, there will be increasing pressure, maybe on other places like Moldova, like Romania, like the Baltics, like the Balkans and so on. And we have to stand firm against this. This is an invasion of a sovereign country, which breaks all the rules, international rules of how we are supposed to conduct.
It's a major element of Vladimir Putin's thinking that he believes now that the West is very weak. We spent a long time here in this country, of course, trying to sack our Prime Minister for a bit of cheese and wine. Joe Biden sometimes looks as though he can't quite remember which day of the week it is. Germany's in transition as well. France was removed from the AUKUS deal, for example. Do you think he just thinks that we're there for the taking?
Well, who knows what Putin thinks, but I don't think there's any doubt that Putin does see the West as not as strong as I certainly would like it to be. And from the end of the Cold War, we went through this process of believing that we in the West had won this battle against communism, and that what would emerge from it was, to quote some of the books that were written at the time, the end of history, the spread of liberal democracy around the world. We had won the great confrontation. That has not proven to be the case. And in fact, it's liberal democracies that are under pressure at the moment. China is what it is, and the threat to Taiwan, Russia and other dictatorships, are still around. And I think we in the West have become very complacent. We've become very overly focused on just assuming that everything's going to be fine. If anything good comes out of this, it will be that the Western leadership, which I think has been complacent, and I don't think has covered itself in glory over these last few years in defence and security matters. And maybe we will now begin to take this more seriously. NATO maybe will come closer together and work better together. And what we'll see is a stronger reaction to what's been going on. And that could be a good thing. But at the expense of Russia moving into Ukraine, and we don't know what the fighting is going to result from this. I can't believe Ukraine are going to do nothing. So people are going to die. And that is undoubtedly the weakness of the West, and the lack of resilience in the West, and all the issues you've touched upon and many others has been a factor in this.